Welcome everyone. Today we are going to discuss a very interesting topic, and that is where to find good ideas for starting a business. Many people like to be their own boss and spend time doing things they are passionate about. They do not want to spend the rest of their lives doing a mundane 9 to 5 job and waste time in unproductive meetings, working on meaningless projects, and dealing with office politics. Many of you may share the same thoughts. You want to start and run your own company in a more efficient and productive way than your current or previous employers. You want to offer a product or service that is helpful to others and make some money on the way. Great. But how should you get started? Where do you begin? Do you have some ideas that you can convert into a viable business opportunity? If no, then where do you go to find some good ideas? Are these ideas written down in some recent bestsellers you can find on Amazon or on the business management books aisle at Barnes & Nobles? There is no simple answer to this question. The aha moment cannot be pinpointed to any one place or method. However, I will outline some techniques you can adopt that will enable you to think creatively and come up with a viable business idea. The sources of all new ideas can be categorized into 6 groups. They are your personal strengths, experiences in your workplace, experiences in your personal life, experiences in others' personal lives, that is friends and family, experiences in growth industries, and new experiences. Let me explain each of these in detail. Your personal strengths. You should introspect yourself and identify what your key strengths are. Everyone has one or two key strengths. You should look deeply within yourself to identify them. Do you have a hobby and are you passionate about it? Are you good at speaking? Are you a good communicator? Do you like teaching or coaching someone? Are you passionate about helping someone learn a skill? Are you good with numbers and analysis? Do you have excellent people skills and can easily sell things? Remember, we are looking for something you can do exceptionally well or things that you are good at today which you can hone to become an expert. Many people think that they do not have any unique talent or special skills that are needed to start a business. They believe that all people who are very successful are gifted and have extraordinary skills. I disagree with both these statements. I say that most successful people are normal people with abilities similar to everyone else, except that they have identified what is interesting for them in their lives, their personal strengths, and focused on achieving their end goal. It is the focus and the dedication coupled with hard work and patience that enable them to achieve great things. Take, for example, Dale Carnegie, the author of the popular book How to Win Friends and Influence People. He was born into poverty and somehow managed to obtain a college education. He worked as a salesman for a few years and figured out that he was good at selling, but he soon quit sales to pursue his other aspirations. Very soon, he ran out of his savings, was unemployed, and nearly broke. While living at the YMCA in New York, he got an idea to teach public speaking courses and persuaded the manager there to allow him to instruct a class. From the very first class, the course gained popularity, and the rest, as we know, is history. One of his famous quotes is, "People rarely succeed unless they have fun in what they are doing." Therefore, you must identify what your interests are and what you are passionate about. Then you have to identify what skills you have today to achieve your dreams. You should then work on honing those skills to the point that it gives you an edge over others and people are willing to pay for your skills and expertise. At that point, all you have to do is simply create a legal structure around your value proposition, call it a corporation, start offering your services, and then start collecting money. The second source of ideas come from your workplace. If you have been working for someone, then you would have gained significant knowledge about the industry in which your employer operates and built expertise on the specific things you are responsible for. With this knowledge and expertise, you should ask yourself the following questions. How does your company make money? Do you understand the complete value chain for the products or services your company offers, and can you replicate it if you were to start your own company? By value chain, I mean who are the suppliers, who are the manufacturers, who are the distributors, who are the customers, and who are all the key people involved. I'm not suggesting that you should copy or steal the intellectual property of your employer, which is illegal, but there are many things that are not proprietary. Let me give you an example. Say that you have been working for a real estate agency that deals with residential and commercial properties. While working at the firm, you understood the business well, made some relationships, and learned tricks of the trade. If you wanted to start your own real estate firm and do transactions, you could do so easily with all the knowledge and experience you gained. Other questions to ask are, do you feel that your employer is running the firm inefficiently and you have ideas for some process changes that could boost efficiency and thereby increase profits? Is your company offering its products and services in all geographies, that is, in all states and countries? If not, could you start offering the product or service in these unserved markets? This is very relevant for international people currently living outside of their home countries. Let's say, for example, you're from India, currently living in the United States. You're very much interested in the solar industry and have been closely following the solar boom that happened in Europe and US. You could take this knowledge and offer the solar products or services back in your home country. The opportunity is not just limited to solar. Any technology that has been first adopted in developed countries will slowly be adopted in emerging economies too. You could look at all the technological changes that are occurring in developed economies presently and analyze whether a similar need exists in emerging economies too. I'll give you an example. Flipkart is the Indian version of Amazon.com. It was founded by two employees who quit Amazon to start their own company. While working at Amazon, they understood the business model and the intricacies involved and decided to replicate and enhance the offering with their own startup. As per one survey, Flipkart is amongst the top 20 Indian websites offering over 11 million titles and various electronics and stationery items. The third source of ideas comes from your personal experiences. You do so many tasks in your day-to-day life and use so many gadgets, technologies, and services in the process. Sometimes you're satisfied with the technology or service providers and sometimes you're not. Sometimes you also find that no one offers a particular service that could benefit many people facing a certain problem. You should also introspect your daily life, just like you did for uncovering your personal strengths. You should ask the following questions. What services you currently use in your daily life you think are absolutely necessary? Without those services, your life would be a bit difficult. For example, if you're using a babysitter to take care of your child while you and your spouse are at work, then think about whether you are satisfied with the service, safety, security, hourly rate, etc., or do you think you have some ideas to improve the service? Similarly, you can think of other services you use such as rent cars, shipping carriers such as FedEx, UPS, banks, etc., and think about any inconveniences you experience and ways to improve the service. For example, think about all the ATMs that banks install throughout the country. Shouldn't they be used for more services than just for depositing and withdrawing money? What could those services be? The next question to ask yourself is, what gadgets, technology products, and web services you use and which ones do you think need improvement? By observing and analyzing the inconveniences and challenges you face in your day-to-day life, you could uncover opportunities for a new business. Most of you may be familiar with Netflix, the online DVD rental and streaming content provider. Reed Hastings, the founder of Netflix, got this idea when he was forced to pay $40 in overdue fines after returning a DVD well past its due date. He founded Netflix in 1998 and introduced a flat fee monthly subscription plan that gives customers unlimited rentals without any due dates, late fees, shipping and handling fees, or per-time rental fees. The fourth source of ideas comes from your interactions with others when you're helping them with their problems or issues. In our day-to-day lives, we not only take care of our tasks, but we also get pulled into other people's issues. It may be a friend who is seeking your advice in finding an affordable and reliable babysitter for his child. Or it may be a family member asking your help to create a website for his small business. In each of these situations, you see that people generally tend to take recommendations from someone they know before buying a product or service. This is why we have companies like Yelp that looked at this problem people were facing and created a platform for people to share their opinion and feedback. However, this doesn't completely solve the problem. How can you trust reviews from strangers? Then came solutions from social media sites such as Facebook that enable you to see if any of your friends or their friends have tried the product and if they would recommend it. Another example is cost of professional services. Everyone would like to get expert advice to their problems instead of browsing hours and hours on the internet, reading discussion forums, and still remain confused. However, the cost of speaking to a lawyer or a tax consultant could be expensive. Why not create a platform where these experts are eager to answer your questions at a price you're able to afford? Yeah, I know such a business model doesn't exist now, but that's where the opportunity lies. So next time, when you're helping someone in solving their issues, observe carefully and see if there is an opportunity for a business. Many of you may know who Jack Dorsey is. He is the man behind Twitter and the mobile payments company Square. In one of his talks, he narrated how he got the idea for Square. One day, Jack was speaking to his first boss and friend Jim, who sold glass artwork for a living. During the conversation, Jim mentioned about how he lost a $2,000 sale that day for not being able to accept credit card payments. Jack thought about it and how both of them had iPhones, basically high-tech computers next to their ears, and yet in this day and age there was no easy way for them to accept credit card payments even with these astonishing devices in their pockets. Jack realized how a solution to this problem could not only help his friend Jim, but also millions of people out there who would benefit if there was a simple technology that allowed anyone to accept credit card payments. Street vendors selling a variety of stuff, people doing a garage sale, food trucks, people raising money for charity, and so on would highly benefit from such a solution. With that in mind, together with Jim, Jack decided to build a solution. That's how Square was born. The fifth source of ideas comes from analyzing and following growing sectors and industries in the broader domestic and international economies. As the saying goes, a rising tide lifts all boats. Similarly, a growing industry creates opportunities for both incumbents and new entrants. You hear about growing industries in the news, see people discussing about it in social media sites, stocks of companies related to these markets start performing well, and so on. Let's say when the housing market improves, it creates opportunities in several other related markets. When people start buying houses, the demand for new houses increases, which creates demand for construction equipment, metals, and other materials, which in turn creates new employment opportunities. When more people get jobs, their consumption of goods and services increases, which boosts the overall economy. Therefore, you have to watch and study booming industries and sectors for potential business opportunities. Another example I could give is about the solar industry. When the industry was booming around year 2005, it created opportunities for many players in the value chain. Many installers started companies and started installing solar systems on rooftops. Some people developed racking equipment that enabled faster installation of solar systems, and some other people developed software tools for visualizing energy production and savings. If you had expertise in building software tools for calculating returns or performance of this system, you could have built a business around it. Therefore, watch out for news and information concerning emerging technologies, government policy, grants, incentives, customer adoption rates, etc., and evaluate how your skills and strengths could be used for developing a solution. During the internet boom of the 90s, many dot-com companies were started that relied on a simple business model of harnessing network effects by building market share and mind share. Government and investors fueled the bubble with low interest rates and easy financing. Although many startups failed due to the lack of a viable business model, some of the well-known companies such as Amazon, eBay, and Priceline survived the crash and eventually became successful. A similar story can be told of the solar industry boom from 2005 to 2008, fueled by incentives and subsidies from governments in various countries. The final and sixth source of ideas comes from your new experiences. When you're exposed to new topics or new devices, or when you travel to new locations and meet new people who work in completely unrelated industries, your brain starts making relations among the things you know from the past and among the things you are experiencing in the present. You will start noticing the differences like, oh, this is how we do it back home, and here is how they are doing it. Or you will start questioning as to why they are doing it this way. When you are exposed to a new device, you will first try to understand how it is solving a problem, but you will quickly start asking questions such as, can this device or the technology behind it solve the problems that I face in my industry? Or how can I create a solution using this device that can solve the problem in my industry? When Howard Schultz traveled to Italy, he noticed how people spent time meeting friends and family in neighborhood coffee shops everywhere. It spurred an idea within him as to why can't the same thing be replicated in the US. This is what led him to start the world-renowned coffee chain store we call Starbucks. Another example I could give is about Sam Goldman, who was on a Peace Corps mission in Africa in 2004. During that period, he witnessed an incident in which his neighbor's son was badly burned by an overturned kerosene lamp. This incident, along with the knowledge that 2.3 other billion people in the world still do not have access to reliable electricity, inspired Sam to build a solar lantern that gives safe, bright, and renewable lighting to the people around the globe. Thus, the social enterprise D-Light was started. Today, D-Light reaches customers in several developing countries who do not have access to reliable power, bringing them affordable solar lighting and power products. Therefore, I encourage every one of you to travel, meet new people, expose yourself to new ideas, and experience new things. You never know what type of interesting insights your mind will develop, which could lead to a new business idea. Now that we have covered the 6 sources of ideas, I would highly encourage everyone to spend some time thinking about your own strengths, interests, and experiences, and start listing out relevant items under each source category. Initially, don't try to limit the number of items under any category. Just jot down everything you can think of and capture all your experiences and thoughts. In the second iteration, you can screen and shortlist potential ideas for further due diligence. At this time, I would like to thank you all for attending this online presentation. I offer webinars periodically covering all aspects of starting, financing, and running a business. So please stay tuned for information on my next webinar.